Want to welcome Priyanka back. She's going to lead our next panel. It's going to be how cryptocurrencies are evolving the privacy market. Today, decentralized applications are taking the privacy problem with new angles and evolving the market for user data and privacy. The panel is going to be led by Priyanka again, and really excited to hear from both Dr. Waterhouse and Roman Storm. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dustin. And thanks for having me back. It's good to be here. So, hey, everyone. Priyanka again here with OpenLaw and the Lao. And I just want to welcome you guys, welcome our guests, rather, Stephen Waterhouse of Orchid Labs and Roman Storm of Tornado Cash. Both are well known in the privacy market. I love that their names both have water symbols in them, or water-related symbols. So it's kind of a fun little twist to that. Today, we're also going to just, like as Dustin mentioned, really dive into the cross-section between privacy and blockchains, which is obviously a hotly contested product. Okay, Roman, you're back. I was like, where'd you go? Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. So let's just kick things off. Maybe for those who don't know, maybe if you could introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about Orchid Labs and Tornado Cash. So Stephen, Dr. Waterhouse, if you want to kind of go first and tell everyone a little bit about yourself and Orchid Labs, that'd be great.
Orchid Labs. So yeah, we're a decentralized network with our first applications focused on VPN services. We've developed a really innovative layer 2 scaling technology called nanopayments that allows us to do payments at data networking speeds. It's a probabilistic approach. We launched last year in December. We have clients for iOS, Android, OS X, and partnered with a bunch of existing professional VPN companies who are running the network in a fully decentralized way. We're very focused on aspects of privacy on a consumer and business level, and very interested in all the new innovations in the space, whether it's layer 1 or smart contract innovations or privacy preserving approaches.
Amazing.
Yeah, hi, I'm Roman Storm, co-founder of Tornado Cash. Tornado Cash is a non-custodial privacy solution. It improves transaction privacy by breaking the on-chain link between recipient and destination address. It uses a smart contract that accepts token deposits that can be withdrawn by a different address. So whenever the token is withdrawn by the new address, it's really hard to link the withdrawal to the deposit, ensuring complete privacy.
Sweet. Awesome, thanks for that. So maybe let's dive into some of the meatier topics of privacy. You know, I, for one, and I think many see privacy as a fundamental human right. Financial privacy across multiple jurisdictions is some of the most protected financial data out there. And really with blockchain, every transaction is a financial one. And given the pseudonymous nature of the technology, what implications do you think the privacy preserving technology has to the user? I know it's a really broad ranging question, but maybe like on a holistic high level, you could talk a little bit about that, and also like just on a practical level as well. I'd love to just hear your thoughts philosophically on that.
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead, Roman.
Yeah. So my opinion is that in traditional Web 2.0 world, like we have all of our transactions private by default from the public. So if we make a bet that the future of financial infrastructure should utilize blockchain technology under the hood, we have to make sure that we allow users to transact privately. So, for example, like any business owner who runs who pays the salaries to his or her employees doesn't probably want all of that information to be public, and so that like the competitors know how much exactly you pay to your employees, so they can actually steal your talent. So to solve those issues, I think it's vital that we have to work on privacy on-chain solutions. And of course, we can't just solve everything by on-chain. We also have to have off-chain solutions like Orchid. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think just on a broader level, I think that there's been a great deal of focus over the years on the privacy challenges of things like ad networks and the things that we've been focusing on, such as ISP data collection and even VPN company data collection and logging. But kind of your financial trail is really one of the most interesting things that tells me not just what you're buying, but also where you are, because I can track the location of the stores that you're purchasing at. And you always see, like in kind of like spy movies, people, they get the credit card information first, and they find out, oh, they're at this gas station. And so I think there's probably been like not enough focus on kind of like a non-blockchain perspective of people's understanding that this financial data is really a very important piece. And I think that the thing that concerns me on a global level right now is how for many years there was a sort of naive perspective as like, oh, blockchains and decentralized everything is just going to fix this problem of privacy. But meanwhile, we now see central banks adopting so-called privacy or so-called blockchain solutions in digital currencies. And they're just like rolling in all the tracking data that they can into that information. And they're not going to build privacy-preserving blockchains that support stable coins, digital currencies. They're going to do the exact opposite in many cases. So I think that is the overreach that I'm concerned about. And anything we can do in this community to build tools that allow people to build solutions that are going to counter that, I think is a very important thing, as you were saying, for human rights and for privacy in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm totally with you there. I think it's really important to frankly get people using this. I think financial privacy is pretty important to many people for not even nefarious purposes, just day to day. So I guess maybe kind of shifting gears on a technical level, because you guys are both in the space. You have different approaches. I think some obviously some overlap and philosophically are aligned here. Roman, I kind of want to turn this to you. What's the best approach in keeping transactions private? Obviously, I think, this is, you have your own approach at Tornado Cash, but there's like this idea of mixers, zero knowledge proof, private chain, which I remember like years ago being like what every bank wanted. Although now I feel like that conversation has shifted a little. Zcash, and of those kind of different approaches, what do you think is the best? What's the advantage to that approach? And the advantage of non-custodial solutions in general, I think would be helpful for folks.
Sure. So here is how I see the future of privacy for blockchain technologies. So as you probably know, Tornado Cash is only focused to bring privacy to the Ethereum network. But luckily, there are already some other technologies available that could be utilized to make it happen. So for example, we look closely at Zcash and Wasabi Wallet. Zcash is its own blockchain that utilizes zero knowledge proofs. So you can actually send like shielded transactions using Zcash, but it doesn't support Ethereum, so it's their own chain. And Wasabi Wallet, it's the wallet that enables privacy for Bitcoin network. So we see those two technologies as a very successful technologies for privacy markets, but we believe that Ethereum is the most utilized blockchain at this moment, but it just lacks the privacy solutions on the market. So the best scenario, in my opinion, if we can combine the user experience of Wasabi Wallet with the power of Zcash technology under the hood, we would, and to bring it to the Ethereum blockchain, I think that would be the ideal scenario at this moment. So we could have like truly privacy-oriented wallet with a very simple UI, and that allow people to send fully shielded transactions. That's what we are working right now on Tornado Cash v3 as a next version.
Congrats, by the way.
Roman, are you taking advantage of the work that the Zcash, the Starkware team did for the Ethereum Foundation recently? I know they received a grant for that work.
As I believe, we work closely at Starkware. I think they're doing some amazing things, and I'm not really. Last time I checked, it wasn't like a mainnet ready solution that we can already use and utilize. So we're like we're always looking for like some cutting edge technologies that can work on mainnet. And if there is something that can help us achieve our goals, we would always give it a try.
Yeah, we should talk. I'd like to chat about some of the things we've been thinking about on that level. Yeah, so just a little kind of refresher. I actually was seed investor in Zcash when I was running a venture fund at Pantera Capital, so I was very familiar with that crew, and I know the Starkwood team very well. So been thinking a lot about these issues. We're focused on a different thing with Orchid. We're focused on network level privacy. And the thing we think a lot about is not just that one thing, but just kind of a very holistic approach to what are all the pieces of information that could expose you in different ways. And we chatted to Zcash and so on about like how combinations of VPNs and different approaches. I know they're working on some layered encryption approaches now also. There's a lot of interesting things here, even within mixed nets, that you get into issues of with timing attacks and kind of like exactly how many people are in the mixed pool and so on. So there's a lot of nuances that I think are still yet to be really figured out, to have, as Roman was saying, a kind of a very easy user experience that you can just press a button and assume that you're okay. Right now, it's like you're kind of rolling your own and you're hoping for the best a little bit. We're not really there with general approaches or developer tools, but I think it's exciting that there is so much focus on these issues, and we're certainly excited to be funded as a company that gets to focus on privacy, which is what we do.
That's great. It's really important. So yeah, and I love that Chainlink is bringing people together. So it's great that you guys are going to connect after. So I also just wanted to add in, and you mentioned this a little bit before, Stephen, but I think both Tornado Cash and thought a lot about VPNs and where VPNs may fit into the equation here. I think it's just great to hear from you, Stephen, first, where you mentioned this earlier, but it would be great just to kind of hear where that fits in for Orchid.
Yeah, so within aspects of trying to make a private transaction, there's a number of things you've got to think through. It's not just making sure that the payment transaction is private. You've also got to think about what information you're exposing when you're doing a transaction on the network, right? And so that they're two kind of quite complementary things. And they need to be, as we were talking, need to be kind of connected and used in the right kind of way. So, on a more general level, the VPN space is a very strange space. There's a lot of players, and it's hard to figure out which one you would choose. There's not like a kind of a Google of the VPN space. So that was one of the observations we had, and why we developed something where we don't actually run a VPN. We're providing the smart contracts and the clients and the server code. What we provide on our client, excuse me, is a client that allows you to create circuits using different nodes in the network and stringing them together to increase the privacy. And our focus is really on providing a lot.
I don't know, Stephen, if you had anything else to add. I kind of I didn't catch the last bit there, but feel free. If not, Roman, love to hear.
He's probably using VPN. That's fine.
Nice VPN. Roman, did you want to add anything there?
No, I completely agree that whenever you interact with the internet itself, like, you have to be aware of what kind of information you are exposing about yourself. I mean, if you are concerned about your personal privacy on the internet. So, for example, when it comes to blockchain or DApps on Ethereum, there are a number of things, like you can open any DApp and analyze what network requests this particular application sends, because it is important. Like, if the DApp interacts with some third-party services, that also means that those third-party services, they can capture all the logs about yourself, like that you are interacting with them. And so there are a number of solutions that people can use. They can use VPN and Tor to hide the IP information. They can use some incognito mode window in Chrome to never store any session cookies and data. For Ethereum dApps, you can choose which RPC servers you trust to interact with. Like if you're using some publicly available RPC service, you have to assume they are collecting data about you. And it also comes to like any like gas price oracles or basically any network service.
Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. So I guess, now that, we are at the Chainlink Smart Contract Summit, after all, it'd be great to kind of, based on your technical roadmaps, I'm not sure if either of you have incorporated Oracle, specifically Chainlink, but it'd be helpful to understand how that plays into your underlying architecture and really the importance of that in your smart contracts. So feel free, whoever wants to take the question first, but I think that'd be helpful to understand.
So right now on mainnet, Tornado Cash is using Chainlink in the following way. Like, so when you go to Tornado Cash, we have to know what's the current market price for the gas price in order to have a best user experience. So user doesn't have to like think about it. And there are a few ways to achieve that problem. Like you can either ask some off-chain gas price oracles, or you can use Chainlink to get this data from on-chain. When I say on-chain, it's basically Chainlink has the smart contract that anybody can call to get the latest gas price oracle data. Why is it important for Tornado Cash? It solves a few problems. The first problem, what if all the off-chain gas price oracles went down? Then like we can only rely on the on-chain ones. So that's great. So it solves the problem that availability, like service availability for Tornado Cash. The second problem that it solves is for privacy reasons. So let's say you don't want to interact with all those network requests for gas price oracles. You don't want to trust them because you might think they will collect your data. So in that case, you can set your own RPC URL that you trust, and that will fetch the data from the gas price oracle provided by Chainlink. That's it.
Awesome. That's it. Sounds like a lot.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, sure. So I've actually I've known Sergey since 2015, back in when it was just called Smart Contract, and been close with him ever since. And we connected late last year, early this year, to talk about a couple of different ideas. We're also incorporating them in a number of different ways. Like the gas cost issue is something we're focused on also. One of the things we use it for and are working on is basically like a federated request network in order to get pricing data on bandwidth. So our nodes on our network all price their information about how much bandwidth costs, and being able to use Chainlink and oracles in those ways and kind of basically like a federated model, so there's more decentralization is the approach that we've taken with them. And there's a lot of other things we've been looking at doing with them in the future too.
Awesome. Yeah, very smart of them to trademark smart contract back then, I've got to say. It's a good one. So I guess just last, I know that we don't have a ton of time left here, but I did just want to add, what's next for your project? How do you further embark on helping privacy when it comes to blockchains? Anything exciting, teasers you could share with those listening?
I think like right now we're like, in order to have like really cool privacy world on blockchain, I think it's like two-step approach. The first step is just solve the simple use cases. How do we send transactions privately on Ethereum, of course? And the second problem, like how do we build private smart contracts? What I mean by that, like right now, all the smart contracts that on Ethereum, they are not designed with the privacy in mind. So if we could figure out how to make it happen, like so that I can send a private transaction to a smart contract. For example, let's say there is a private compound pool, and to earn some like yield or something and return it back without exposing my information. I think that would be epic as a next step for the blockchain technology.
That sounds great.
So we kind of shy away from roadmaps as a company, but as a project. But the thing that we're really excited about with the community is essentially the vision of more decentralized services, so different kinds of decentralized services. all of which would have the kind of basic privacy layer that we built into everything else, and scaling those are nanopayments. So VPN was number one. We're looking at lots of different opportunities.
Cool. And I guess just last thing, do you guys have like a Twitter handle folks can follow or reach you at?
Sure. Tornado Cash on Twitter.
Awesome.
We are at Orchid Protocol on Twitter.
Perfect. And thank you both for your time. I think this was a really interesting conversation, and look forward to really seeing how that develops.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, that's been lovely.